Charles.
Over here. Hi, everybody.
Covert 19er Alpha Bravo. We're going to add a couple more acronyms to it.
Okay.
Covert 19 Americano Bankruptus.
That's terrible.
That is bad. Okay. Just hope everybody's having a good Monday, the day after Easter. Hope everybody had a blessed day yesterday. It was pretty rainy and it's cold here again.
Very.
If you watch these live shows, you would think that we travel to different states. I mean, everybody else is dealing with the same thing, but it went from the 84 last week to, was it 19?
17 this morning.
Yeah, 17 this morning.
Yeah.
A little chilly.
It's cold out.
Yep. The everything's starting to grow. The trees are starting to bud, and then it freezes. And
Yeah.
so we have some questions we need to deal. Well, first of all, we want to do this.
Yes, we do. Our first posters have arrived, so we're going to show them to you in order of arrival.
Yep.
Peyton
Very
Hamilton
exciting. Very exciting.
brought us this poster after immediately breaking her arm. She managed to get up here. Absolutely darling. Okay. There we go. Can you see that, Bailey?
Some very talented young people sending these in.
Awesome.
It is very, very nice.
She actually looked up on how to draw dogs, and the dog that was on the how to draw dogs was a pointing dog. So that's how she drew these two by hand.
That's
Just
perfect.
terribly cool. And she did our logo up here. It's awesome. Peyton, we love it. She already got her t-shirt, so because she delivered hers in person, so we were able to get her t-shirt.
Yes.
So
And they got Jessica here, and I don't know
Yep.
which dog this is. Hopefully it's one of theirs. And they've got me, and she must have got me in a picture from last summer because I've gained about 15 pounds since that picture. Thank you.
that's awesome. Got the transmitter in your hand, the PK way. We love that.
Very nice.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you, Peyton. This is beautiful.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. We're being very careful with them because we're going to frame these and put them up in our we have a room for the dogs that has all the kennels in it, and that's where these are going to go. It's going to be really cool. And possibly might use one for the cover of our Perfect Hair. And this one arrived this morning.
I'll hold that while you
Okay.
get that one out.
Oh, maybe not. Ah. Hold on.
Be very careful with them.
We are. Okay. It's coming. Hang with me, everybody. We try to be prepared and protect them. In a box.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go. This one hails from Columbus, Texas. Caroline Yancey. It's too cute.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here we go. Awesome. So Caroline used a lot of our quotes in here.
Yes, she did.
Do you want to tell them about those?
Well, I can't see them very good from this angle, so if you want to talk loud so they can hear you.
This one says, my daddy is the grand poobah. John always says that at clinics, that if you're going to be in charge, you need to be the grand poobah of your herd. And so that's Huck wearing his sunglasses, but says his dad is in charge, his dad is the grand poobah. Down here says, less beak, more button. That's one of our famous clinic sayings. That means use the button more instead of talk louder. Hopper's got his earphones on. So over here is pretty please stand still when you say here. It's confusing if you don't. That was an excellent point.
It was very good. Very
Stand
good point.
still when you say here to your dog. That's Miss Nova on point. And Charlie says he smells birds.
And that's referring to the linebacker.
The linebacker.
That's all he does, is find birds.
That's right. So the perfect here, and then it's got our logo in it as well with a, I'm not sure if that's Pepper.
It might be Pepper.
That might be Pepper, her dog. So yeah, absolutely
Greg.
beautiful poster. That was Caroline Yancey. We absolutely love it. Caroline, you tell us whether you want a hat or a shirt, and we will get it in the mail to you. We have new shirts coming that are orange, and we have new hats, visors that are coming that are orange.
Yes.
So, yeah, those are wonderful, kids. Thank you for taking the time to do those. We've got some more coming, and we're going to show them as they come. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Very cool.
We're going to put that back in the box before we
Yep.
continue training.
We will.
We're out here in a different spot today, getting out of the wind. It's very cold, and we found a place down the bottom, so it's out of the wind. We have lots of ground that we're allowed to use here, and we're blessed with that, that's for
Yes,
sure.
we are. Setting conditions are awful today.
Sitting conditions are tough. We're starting to find out who has a dog, which dogs have a nose that works well at this time kind of conditions. You would think, we always think that when it gets colder, it's going to be better. In the last few days it's been the opposite.
Yep.
I think it was Thursday or Friday it got chilly, and the sitting conditions went down. So you never can predict it. So we had one question we had from Pam Canther was that she wanted to know just to explain exactly what summer camp was about. Do you want to?
About, so I wasn't sure I understood. The question was about letting the puppies come in front of the other dogs and bumping
I think that
birds.
she just didn't understand what summer camp was. What is summer camp? Somebody asked what. So someone, not Pam. Pam, sorry. Someone else asked what summer camp is. It wasn't Pam.
Summer camp is 100% for us, wild birds. That's all we do. We do not take a pen-raised bird with us. We take the dogs up there. We're up there for 5.5 to 6 weeks, depending on travel. And your dogs run every other day. And we take 40 to 50 dogs. And they run every other day. And we only work wild birds. That's all we do. We get wild bird experience. They learn to handle wild game. Their noses get a lot better because they have to become more refined, and super fun. It's one of the hardest things that we do. It is the hardest thing that we do every year. We run straight through. The only time we take a day off is if we have a bad thunderstorm, and otherwise because we only have limited time on those wild birds, so we run every day. We go to different place. We have about 10 really good spots, and we try and hit them once every 10 days or so we don't overcrowd the birds or push the birds too hard. And that's what we do.
Yep, we drive out every day to a new place, in different location to run with fresh birds, and sometimes we drive a mile, sometimes we drive 20 miles. It just depends on where we're going, and we've been blessed up there with a lot of really neat people with some cool places to run dogs, and it's quite an adventure for the dogs and us. And
a day in the life at summer camp. John gets up at 4. He feeds all the dogs. I get up at 4:30. I feed the horses. At that point, we usually meet back in the office. We have a little office. We have an indoor arena that we get to use with an alleyway. So all the dogs are staked out the entire time. And at 4:30, after we're done feeding the animals, we meet back in the office and have a cup of coffee. And then we start loading dogs. And that's, if we have 50 dogs, we load 25 that day. If we have 40, we load 20. So half of them go every day. And John walks down the alley, and we usually try and split it up side to side, so it's a little easier to let the dogs go. And he lets them go, and they go racing into the horse trailer. And I put them in their crates and lock the door. And then once we get the dogs loaded, we have the horses saddled, and the horses get loaded in the back half, and off we go to run dogs. We usually finish that about 2 or 3. Get unloaded, take care of the dogs, change all the waters. Rebed everybody, and then we take a nap, afternoon nap.
Yeah, we put in 8 or 10 hours by the time we get back every day, and it's a lot of work, but it's one of the most gratifying things that we do.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful people up there, and wonderful, beautiful country to run in and ride in, and it's just it's a great thing. So. Thank her before I forgot.
So Mia's question was, if you keep a puppy on a check cord all the time, then what's to keep them from staying too close to you and too tight? And so we don't keep a puppy on a check cord all the time. We keep a puppy on a check cord when they're on pen-raised quail. Once they're advanced enough and have been introduced properly to the gun and to the quail, then we recommend doing pigeon launchers, and we actually did a Facebook Live on that. You can go back and look. So we do want you taking your puppies for long walks. Try and find wild birds, try and find woodcock, try and find wild quail, wherever you're from, sharptail, whatever it is. And then if your puppy is going for long walks, you can put a launcher out. Make sure you're doing it on the correct side of the wind so that they can't track you to it. And that pup can find a pigeon and a launcher every single time you take it for a walk. And then that's what gives them the determination to keep looking for birds, because they always find a bird when they're out there. So we encourage you to take your puppy on a lot of walks and let them go explore and see things off check cord. What we're saying the check cord is for is on a pen-raised bird situation where they can catch a bird. You're going to keep them on a check cord. And that's why we say don't go to hunt farms until your dog is broke, because they're going to catch birds. And it's kind of hard to go to a hunt farm and keep your dog on a check cord for 2 hours. That's difficult. But you want to keep the gun going and just shoot an occasional bird. When Huck was a puppy, to give you an example, we finished up his puppy program, I think it was around April. And then, of course, we were going to go to summer camp in July. So we had that interim between the two where we didn't just want to let him sit. We did pigeon launchers 3 or 4 times a week where we turn him loose, let him go find pigeons and launchers. And then about once every 10 days, we would take him out, put him on a check cord, head tuck a pen raised quail so that we could control the situation. He wouldn't get under the muzzle of the gun, and we would shoot a bird for him. And we did that until summer camp. Mm-hmm. And then at that point is when we started breaking them after summer camp. So
right.
Hopefully that helps answer your question. Could you review what we do putting our dogs on wild birds? Do you let a bunch of dogs... do you let a bunch of dogs out running, or do you do different for broke and not broke dogs? Do you run them all together? All that.
Okay,
so she's trying to figure out how we handle the summer camp with what we do with all the birds.
So the one thing that people don't realize a lot of times is frustrating for them with a young dog is if you only have one dog and you have a young dog and they've never been introduced to wild birds and they don't know how to find wild birds, they don't know where to look for wild birds, it can be frustrating because you have to be the bird dog first. Mm-hmm. And so what we do with dogs in North Dakota, or if we're going to find wild birds out here, we'll take an older dog, not older, let's say experienced, an experienced dog, and turn him loose and run him and work him and let them find the birds. Mm-hmm. At that point, that's when that's where we're coming with this. Mm-hmm. That's when we bring the young dogs in and let them go in and involve themselves with the birds to learn about it. And they start building their associations about wild birds based off their experiences, based off where those birds are found, based off the fact they can't do too close, and the scent that they involve themselves with during that time. Mm-hmm. So that's the way we prefer to do it. If you do not have a dog that you can use to help you find birds, one of the things we also do in North Dakota is that, and you can't do this in all states, you can't do it in every state, but if you're driving down, say, a dirt road and a country road, and there's no traffic around, and we see a covey quail, even here, we see a covey quail run across the road, there's no traffic coming, our roads are like a little two-lane pass here, 2 tracks, and we'll have a pup in the car, and if they're ready for it, we'll turn them loose and let them go, put them right in the birds. Yep, that's how they learn to find the birds based off the scent, what they smell like, and how the bird is going to react to them getting too close and stuff. So that's how we do it.
Mm-hmm. And at summer camp, we put down 4 dogs in a brace, and we try and choose between, we have usually we take one really well-broke dog, and then maybe some green-broke dogs and a puppy. Mm-hmm. And the puppies get to do whatever they want, and the broke dogs have to learn to stand with the puppy doing whatever they want. And that really helps them to learn, how to handle the game and how to handle the whoa and the standing through the shot, the blank, because that's a lot of pressure having a young pup come in and rip out the birds right in front of a green-broke dog, and that's how we get them so well broke. We don't protect them, we push them hard.
Exactly.
And when they're ready.
Yes.
When they're ready.
Yeah, this is something that we've always done. A lot of people have always done this, is that, and when you're going to run trials or whatever, or hunt with dogs that aren't broke, you just got to prepare your dogs for it. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to protect your dogs from these situations when they get real broke, that's not going to help them when you go hunting. Mm-hmm. You need to just put them in the situations once they get, when they're prepared for it, when they have enough experience, and they're broke enough. You put them in a hunting situation or summer camp with wild birds, whatever it is, with a young dog or a dog that's a flushing dog. For 30 years, I've always had retrievers around, and I've used them in flush in front of every dog that probably most dogs I've ever trained. Mm-hmm. For that enticement to get them more broke, mm-hmm. the pointing dog.
Right.
So it's something that it's good for both. We use, it's helping each other out. But the thing you have to be careful of it with a young dog on wild birds, once the dog starts learning to find his birds and understand where, you got to get rid of the other dogs because he'll become completely dependent on, mm-hmm. They can become completely dependent on the other dog to find the birds. And they'll run around waiting for the other dog to find them. So.
And pretty quickly in our summer camp, we have pups that become our bird finders, and then they graduate to being the ones that are going to go out and find the birds, and we don't put them down with the good bird finders anymore. They have to find their own.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it, is to start to develop them. So.
Yep.
Lots of good questions, everybody. Thanks.
Yeah.
Do you let your dogs run off some energy before you train them, or do you just go right to training?
I'm a firm believer in I want them as excited as they can be as I'm going through the training when we start, because one of the things that has traditionally happened in all training since I was a little kid, I've always heard this, is, well, you got to get the edge off first. That's not true. To get good training, you have to get them trained while they're excited, because what's going to happen when you go hunting? They're going to get excited. So don't go out and, I've heard people say, well, I kick them out of the car like a mile before I get to my hunting spot. Well, what you're trying to do is cover up bad training. you're trying to get the edge off so that your training will hopefully instill them. One of the things we always talk about in our training at the clinics and with clients that we have dogs here now, when we're doing the training through the process of whoa and here and turning and standing the birds and the mechanical parts of it, we overtrain all the dogs. Just enough so that when you take your dog home, or we take our dog hunting, or you take your dog hunting, you have enough tolerance left in the dog in training that rather than just having 50% of the training, hopefully you end up with 80% of it that will still stick and hold. It's something that's very common, and a lot of people will use that excuse in their training. Trainers do this all the time. Well, I should have let him run around for a minute, or I should have rode him before I ran him in that brace. Well, if that's the case, then we need to train more. That's the way we look at it. And we bring them right out of the trailer, out of the kennel, and we turn them loose and throw them right in the mix of it when they're ready. Now, whenever they're the other question, okay, here's the other question. This goes right along with what we were just talking about. So thanks for asking that, Kevin. The other question was from someone who wanted to know if we are using a check cord all the time, isn't it going to make the dogs work too close? And here's what I want you to think about this for everybody with the check cord. We use the check cord as a safety device to keep our dogs from catching birds. And yes, some dogs could end up working closer because of the check cord, but usually not, because when we're using a check cord, we're not mentally restraining the dog. We are physically restraining the dog. And once we start through the training, through the process of working through birds with the check cord as a safety chain, keeping them from catching, as they progress along and we know that they're not just going to run out there and catch the birds, we let go of the check cord. They're allowed to run around and all them things. And once we know that the electronic collar is taking the position of the check cord that works, they understand the corrections, the enforcements, all that, and we can depend on them and the levels, we know the levels that it's going to take at that time, then we can take the check cord all the way off. But I would say that of all the hundreds of field champions that we've trained, I would never ever have said to you that the dogs can become restricted in their race or their run based off the use of the check cord. The thing that does happen though is that dogs become wise to the check cord if used improperly, and they'll run real short when they have it on, and as soon as you turn it off, because people are afraid to take it off, their training's not done well enough by the time they let go of the check cord or take it off. Once they take it off, the training's not done well enough. The dogs will work real short and be very over control with the check cord. As soon as you take it off, they're wild in the wind and they're gone. So there's a lot right there to think about. But do you have anything to say about that? So that was two questions answered at once.
What's the difference between green broke and broke?
Well, there's a...
I get to take that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, actually, it's just funny that you asked that, and it's a great question, because oftentimes people will be, at a trial or say, "Hey, you want to ride my horse?" And I'm like, "No," because my idea of broke is so different than other people's idea of broke, and what I want in a horse, and how what I can do on them without them getting worried or concerned is way deeper than what most people want. And so that's just such a great question, because there's so many people who will say their dog is broke, and we get it all the time. Well, she's broke, and she's not at all. And so our definition of broke is steady to wing, shot, and fall. They're going to go out and find a bird. If the bird's walked away, they're going to move up and pin it. They're going to stand there and wait for us to come in, flush, shoot, drop the bird, and then go tap them on the head for the retrieve, and they're going to come back to us properly, and that's what we consider broke. They're going to do that in any venue, any situation. Every dog makes a mistake. I'm not saying they're perfect dogs, but that's what we consider broke. I mean, you can take them to a new place and they do the same thing.
Yeah, and and everybody has their own opinion on what broke is, and we try to train to the highest level we can, and it takes a short time for us to get a dog green broke. We do it real quick and fast and efficient and well. But to get a dog really solid, it takes a lot of miles, a lot of different places, a lot of different birds, a lot of different venues for me to say that now that dog he's broke. And I think that the biggest thing I can tell you to define that for you, if you're wanting a dog to stay wing and shot and fall, but let's say not even that, if you just want a dog to break on the shot, is that are you standing there hovering over the dog, hoping that they stand there, waiting for corrections all the time, and you got to really watch them like a hawk. That's green broke. That would define green broke. Whatever level you're looking to keep the dog broke at is standing birds. A dog that is finished, that is well conditioned with all this, and they're just, I call them, they get real solid. As just like Jessica described, you can take them anywhere, any place, and you can always I can make any dog break. If you think you got a dog that's not, that we can't make break, I guarantee you we can make it break. And it's just a matter of when we're working through the training and we have a really solid dog with a lot of experience, it's what we call well broke, that we're going to try to make them make some mistakes from time to time to get those enforcements and corrections, because that's how we got them broke to begin with. And so I hope that helps you explain a little bit that, Tim. So,
what age would you recommend for a pup to go to camp? Thanks for watching, Jody and Dave. So if you're asking summer camp, we take puppies as young as 6 months, 6 months old. The puppy program, we take them at 16 weeks, 4 months old. So we'll do their gun acclimation and their introduction to birds and get to where we can shoot over them. And then at 6 months old, they can go to summer camp.
Yep. And it's more about them being confident, understand the birds, understand the gun.
Go in lots of different places, socialized.
Yeah. Yes, they have to be socialized, because it's quite an adventure.
It is. It's a lot. And being on a stake chain for, 5 weeks is 5.5 weeks is a lot. So, and they do fine with it. Yep. Everybody does fine, but it is. They have to be pretty well socialized to be able to deal with all that. It can blow some of their minds right at first.
Yeah.
Go, whoa, what's happening?
That's why you want to take the time to get all your dogs well-rounded.
Yeah, Richmond, do you use the head tap to relocate as well?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll repeat that.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And so we'll progress into some more of that. It sounds like this COVID-19 or Alpha Bravo is going to hang around for a while. And so we'll continue to do this, and we'll show some of that. And those are things that, if you can remind us, because literally we're working dogs all day.
Yeah.
All day. So if in the morning you see our post come up, if there's something specific like that you'd like us to cover, we'll gladly do it.
Yeah, we check the post every day before we start.
So. Just go ahead and remind us that you'd like to see that. We'll show it. So Bailey, what's somebody making fun of me again?
Oh, her dad's watching. Hi, Dad. How's it going?
Yep.
So I got to say something. Yesterday, in my brief time, I try to look at Facebook a little bit to, especially for the gun shy dogs, because I always put our link in there to help give them an avenue to see that they can be fixed. 3 posts yesterday just kills me. These people putting their puppies on pigeons, letting them catch pigeons, putting them on strings and letting them catch them, and that's their first experience with a bird that they've ever seen. And I just have to mention again, don't let your dog catch birds. Imagine if you had those puppies, and instead of letting them all jump on that pigeon and catch it and drag it around, imagine if you had a bird in the grass and the pup went up to explore and the bird flew off. Imagine how much better their point would be instantly, just instantly. And it just makes absolutely no sense to let these puppies catch birds when they're supposed to be a pointing dog, because that goes against everything that instincts tell them to do, and the birds should be able to fly away. So don't let your puppies catch pigeons or quail or anything.
So do you want to say that again?
Oh, yeah. I just sorry.
Catch birds.
Catch birds. Don't let them catch birds.
Yeah, people, and I think that it's just like, that is no different than people that just take their dogs out, put them on birds, and then shoot over them. We all think that that's the way we do it, and that's not the proper way to do it, and it makes a big difference. And the thing that I always think about with dogs and catching birds, when I was younger, just a couple of years ago, and had my first bird dog, I had no access to pin birds.
Right, sure.
We just put them on wild birds, and it took a lot of walking. And by the way, if he happens to be watching, my Uncle Gary today's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
and he's
Gary.
the one that got me involved with all this, with his bird dogs.
He started this whole thing
for me. And so going out with the dogs and my cousins and putting them on wild birds, that's what we did. We never had pen raised birds. So the dogs pointed fabulous. We didn't even know whoa. We would say it to them because we thought we knew what we were doing at the time, But the dogs would involve themselves with the birds, and because we didn't have pen raised birds, all they knew is they couldn't get close to them.
Yep.
And that's what we're trying to recreate with your puppies. If you can do that, I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference.
And the backwards way of thinking about this, one post actually said, well, I let them do this to a certain age, and then I stop. Then I don't let them do it anymore. Well, wow. That is so confusing for a puppy.
It's just bad knowledge. People don't know.
You can't put them on a bird and let them catch it and then 4 weeks later say, no, you can't catch anymore. Why would you even do that to your dog? I mean, it's so confusing.
What is that word that you use?
Anthropomorphize.
Yeah. And what people do is they think that the puppy's going to understand what they're doing the next time they go out and don't want them to catch it now.
That's not good.
No, it's not
just
good.
very, very upsetting. So don't let your puppies catch birds because they don't need to. They're going to be even better bird dogs without catching birds.
And it's, again, we have dogs, and that's what we're going to do today, is that we're going to show a couple dogs. One of them, they both belong to the same wonderful person.
She's awesome.
And we're going to show them the difference in dogs that have been able to be on tip-trip traps and catch birds and stuff like that more than one that, I don't know if he'd caught birds before or not, but not much. But it didn't matter. But you can definitely see a difference. I don't think he had.
I don't think so either.
Because we did the clinic was the first time he'd ever done
right.
that. So
we controlled his puppy situation where he didn't catch birds, and
yes.
and she was put on a lot of tip-up traps. And we want to show you the difference in their style.
Yeah, and how they handle, and the confidence.
Sure.
The confidence and the fact that they feel like they can't catch them, and the difference there, just so you can see that, it'll maybe help you understand, because most of the problems we see with dogs over the years, most of the dogs that have problems with like flagging and crowding and stuff like that are hard and difficult to get to be able to become field champions, is because they have caught birds. I mean, the flagging thing, that just becomes that the more they run and the more they get to catch birds, it gets to the point where you can't change it. Promise you.
We had several we couldn't fix from flagging because they caught too many.
Yeah, there's been several we do fix.
Sure. A lot of them we do.
But we don't want to have to do that, and so we just want everybody to realize the difference.
And that's just it. We don't want your dog to have to go through the whole process of, well, you let them catch birds and then there's no clarification for which birds they can pick up and which birds they can't. Then they become confused and you have to put a lot of pressure on them, and it's unfair. It's just unfair to the dog. So that's why we don't do that.
So explain that. The definition for the dog of what they can pick up and what they can't.
So the definitions for the dog is if you let them catch pen-raised birds that are not injured, that are perfectly fine and healthy, and then you start shooting birds over them, and then they're allowed to go pick up those birds as well. And then one day you decide, okay, I want to break my dog and it can't catch birds anymore. How does it know which birds it can pick up and which birds it can't pick up? And the definition for them should be very clear, that if the bird has been shot and has blood and gunpowder smell on it, they can pick it up. But by letting them catch birds at a young age and then throughout their life, and then saying one day, no, you can't catch, they're very confused as to why can't I pick that one up, but I can pick this one up. And so our puppies, from the time that they start through our program, only get to pick up a bird that's been shot, and it's very clear to them. It's not confusing at all. So it makes the training easier. Just like if you
only put them on wild birds.
That's right. Exactly. That's exactly right. So hopefully that makes sense.
We're just going to show you where these dogs are at. You saw them a couple weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, when we started them on their first session with the pigeons, standing through the pigeons. And I have to find them here. Again, they're going through the breaking process. They're getting pretty good. We've incorporated the shot into it, and we've incorporated the shot into the stand, and we can stand through the shot. We have not killed birds out here over him yet, but we've been shooting, and he hasn't got to retrieve for quite a while. So the sending conditions are pretty rough today, so I'm gonna have to work back and forth to the bird a few times. We want to show them how that we demonstrate to see the wind. Yep. So. Nope. Okay. So the wind is variable right here. If we don't find it real good, I'm not going to take him to it. I'm going to walk by it. To save time, why don't you pick one? Okay. I didn't realize the wind had changed that much. So realize with the check cord, I cannot put the dog in a position where I want him easy enough without over controlling him. So that's one of the other reasons that the check cord does not cause the dog to get to the point where they are staying closer than they normally would. Okay, so this sitting conditions are tough, so he may get too close. This is closer than normal, but I'm going to let him do it. This is okay. Yeah, that was good. No correction there. And it's harder for dogs when the sitting conditions are tough because they are going to get closer, so it's more inviting, more enticing. Just put another one out. Let's keep him distracted this way until she gets it out. Leon. Leon. Yeah, when the sitting conditions are tough, it can blow the dog's minds, a young dog that hasn't dealt with it before. A little more wind up here. So you see this little ticking? It's because the sitting conditions are tough today. We'll let him move up. Still not sure. Every dog we've had out here today has done this. All right, fighting. Lost the scent. It's Leon. Come back through it. Nice toe caught on the checkboard. Leon. And as you can see right there, he thought he had it and he lost it. This is part of tough sitting conditions. All right. Why we don't whoa him on the point. I'd rather him get too close, the bird pop. All right. Still not sure. All right. Fine. Lost the scent, Leon. He's got it. Okay, come on. As soon as you feel like he's had it, the sitting is going to change. Go ahead and get in front of him. The wind is going to change, so he smelled it. And once you kick around over there, then I'm going to relocate him. I'm going to show this is the first time I'll relocate him. Yep. Okay, come back on out. You see the style? All right. See how I didn't stop him, he stopped himself. I want the bird to pop. All right. Okay, go ahead. As soon as the flushers in front, they can't move no more. They got the check cord for a safety chain in case he tries to go after it. Whoa, I wasn't prepared for that. There was no gun out here. So there's a correction on the shot. Take him out, I'll get the next one. Leon. What I want you to look at here is the difference in the, watch the difference in the dogs around the birds as far as how confident they seem and stuff. When you let your dog catch birds and get on top of the birds all the time, and then you take that away, it directly affects their feelings about the situation. If, these dogs are nice dogs and they're pretty tough, but they're not super hard-headed or anything, or a lot of drive. They're good, but they're normal, I'd say. So hopefully you guys can hear me while he's down there. So this dog is on a different level. They're all on different levels. So you see that she's pulling, she's excited. And this is Seppy. And these dogs have been going through this process exactly the same amount of time. Bird flew off. Okay. So I'm moving away. Set it up again. Seppy. Yeah, okay, I'm trying to do this quickly. Or real quick. What'd you say? Didn't smell it? Seppy. Okay. Go ahead.
Wow, getting better.
She's getting better. This is awesome. Okay, so we'll back them out. This is a different dog. I don't know what have corrected that dog for that right there. But with this dog, this is the best she's been. So I wanted to let her move. She's liable to try to catch it now. Okay, walk back in there again, Jessica. If she moves as you're walking, I'll correct her this time. Whoa. What's the correction? Whoa. Whoa. This is why we use check cords. I went up on a level there. Okay, we'll put one more out for her. Seppy. So, right there, anybody have any questions about that while Jessica's getting another bird out? Okay. So, Jessica said the bird might still be here. Well, you go ahead and get another one. I'll try to find it. Right there, so these dogs, that's a perfect example right there. These dogs, when they're, let me say this. When you're trying to get through the balance of not catching birds with dogs that have caught birds and they're tender at the same time in this situation, if you go too far, they lose all style, all desire, and matter of fact, they just don't look good on point. So if you let your dog catch birds, this is something you have to deal with. I just had to correct her on a higher level there for trying to catch and stopped with the check cord. And those are things that happen, and just notice Leon didn't do that. And the reason why is because he doesn't have a big habit of catching birds. That's why we suggest you don't do that. And you're seeing it right here with these two dogs. And like I said, I've always told people, it's not hard to break dogs or train them to be finished. It's hard to finish them and have them looking good at the end and being solid. So every time you let your dog catch a bird, you're making it worse and harder for the dog. Okay. Jessica's throwing birds at us.
Are you correcting her with the collar too?
Oh yeah, if I say whoa, I'm hitting the button. And don't do this at home without the preliminary work that you have to do. If you just do this at home with a dog without doing the work we do before this time, you can really mess them up. I'm going to take her this way, so. Yes, I answered that question. Hopefully you heard it from Bailey, but I am correcting her with stimulation every time I say whoa. Okay, I'll do this real quick. Seppy. 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 She's going to try it again. She's going to try it again. This is a new spot. Notice I didn't whoa her. I'm going to get her for the intentions of trying to catch. Come on in, Jessica. This is the flag that goes with catching birds. Whoa. There was a correction. You see right there, if I didn't have the check cord, it'd have to be so high, it would be detrimental to her. So this is good. This is what we wanted you all to see. I'm not holding her with a check cord. I just got it there to keep her from actually catching the bird if she attempts again. Go ahead and flush it on that one. Okay, and this is all getting better. Well, there's one little step I corrected. Seppy. Okay. All right, let's go answer some questions. We'll put her up, and that was a good demonstration.
How come you don't just turn the collar way up and stop them from going in on the birds?
Because she'll never look at it. The question was.
That's my question.
Because she'll never look at another bird again.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not trying
and Leon the same way.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So this will give a little hint what's happening there. I'm as low as it'll go. Mm-hmm. And I used a 2. I went from a 1 to a 2 when she was trying to delay chase.
Oh,
I went to a 2 low, but after we got back to the bird, I was on a 1. When she tried to jump in, I was on a 1 high. After that, it was all 1 lows.
So keep repeating to try and get the training in place.
Yes.
Yeah, you can go higher. We have several dogs in the kennel right now that have come from a trainer that went way high, and they wouldn't even look at the birds. And
Yes.
so it's a balance of teaching, using the check cord as a safety net, getting the corrections until they fully understand everything.
Right, and that's difficult. I mean, it's
Sure.
you put in this today, like today, both those dogs were real close to those birds
Yeah.
because of sitting conditions, and we just do it and have the check cord for a safety chain and go through the process of still teaching. These dogs are not broke; they're not even green broke yet. They're getting close, but a day like today, we'll test a lot of green broke
Sure,
dogs.
absolutely.
So, do you have any questions?
Greg asked if you could use pigeons and launchers and pop the bird when they get too close.
You can, but the thing, I had a call or a text or something today just about this very thing. Someone said that they go out on the bird releases and the launchers, and the dog does perfect all the time. And now the dog, put birds on the ground, they crowd them and stuff all the time. The dogs know the difference, and you can never ever diminish the intelligence of a dog and their ability to use their nose and the differences of things that are out there. And just like a bird launcher or bird and a bird launcher compared to, say, a pen-raised bird loose on the ground, no different than a pen-raised bird loose on the ground compared to a wild bird. When you go on a pen-raised bird on the ground, if the dogs have caught birds, they're going to keep trying. If you go to launchers and they've had enough birds launched in front of them, they'll just point them and be perfect because their association is different. You go on wild birds, they'll be on wild birds, they'll be perfect. Go back to pen-raised birds, they'll try to catch them again.
Yep.
So that's what we are doing. The art of this is teaching people how to train their dogs, or us teaching dogs how to be trained on pen-raised bird. And that's where everybody keeps messing up with their dogs, and we're trying to help you guys to show you how much time and training you can save by not letting your dogs catch birds and taking your time and doing things right. The launcher's a great idea. It's a preliminary place to start with this. But as soon as you get through that process with a bird launcher and go to a bird on the ground, they've got to learn it there too.
And we just stay with a bird on the ground once we're with a bird
Yep.
on the ground. That's how we train. And once they've graduated to quail on the ground, that's what we do, because you can't train with a launcher and think that the association will be the same. It never is.
Never is. No matter how smart your own dog is,
Yeah.
none of them, they all know it. They all get
They
it.
do know, yep. Scott asked what your technique is for a dog that gets really excited when they see a bird come up out of the grass and it starts walking around. You just saw it with
You
Seppy.
just saw it, but the techniques we use you'll find on the Perfect Start, and we're doing these new videos to cover all this stuff in depth. It starts off, the first time that we whoa dogs on birds, they're actually watching birds fly over them, around them, the first time or two.
Yeah.
And people that have come to clinics can tell you about this. It's pretty cool. They start learning to watch birds fly off immediately. And through that process, we also have birds that don't fly, and they're on the ground, and we walk them around the dogs and stuff. And so we go through that process, and what we're trying to tell you guys is that the technique that we developed is a steps that you progress through. And if you jump to this step right here and you try this with your dog at home, you'll probably be calling us wanting us to fix it.
Yeah.
Because these dogs have been set up to understand this. We're teaching each process through the steps. And the technique is you start off in the baby steps. Start off from farther distances and work them in closer and using the check cord. So what Jessica asked, her question is, she asked me, why didn't you just turn the collar up and make her get off that bird? There's people who do that.
That's right.
And you can see them at hunt tests, usually.
We have several dogs in the kennel that have had it done.
And it's
So
because
we're
at
trying
hunt
to
tests, they
fix.
don't have to have a lot of style. I'm sorry to say that, but that's why they pass a lot of them don't have a lot of style. So a lot of trainers are out there just cranking on them and making them afraid of the birds. And that's not the process we want here. We want the process to be to stand birds, not to be afraid of birds.
And to look good doing it.
So if we get rid of the check cord, we either let them catch it or we turn the collar up. Keep the check cord on the dog for a while. That's the technique I'd say is the most important.
And a few weeks ago, if they had seen Seppy, she would point with her tail straight down. And so we're getting there. We're gaining on it. She's getting better style. And she's getting better style because we're allowing her to move up on the birds. We're allowing either the bird to pop and her to learn from that, or get a correction for trying to catch.
Yep.
Okay, not a correction for moving up. We allow the dogs to move up, and that's why her style is improving.
Actually, there's some pictures that you probably could post.
Yeah, I can post some pictures.
I mean, actually, her owner even asked. She's not,
She doesn't look very intense.
Yeah.
Her owner had asked that, and that's why. And now she's getting more intense because we're teaching her she can't catch by correcting her when she tries to, and by having birds that hopefully pop when she gets too close. So Rick's question is, he's doing about the same thing with his dog, and he's wondering when to start introducing the retrieving into it because he's afraid his dog will get bored. That's part of the building blocks that we just talked about, and we don't go to that building block until we have this one fully covered.
Yeah. It depends on your dog. Every dog's different, but most dogs who have a lot of bird or drive or hunting instinct, they don't get bored with this. But there are occasions, and we will be covering all this real in depth on the breaking process through the videos and stuff, of how, when you correct a dog for not catching, how to handle that and all those things. But the one thing that does teach our dogs to be more steady than most dogs being trained is the fact we don't let them retrieve a lot until they're really capable of being steady enough to do that. And we never let them retrieve all the time. But if you have a dog that's really soft, or say here's the problem. There's a lot of preliminary questions I would have to ask you before answering this question, because has your dog caught birds? Tell me about your dog. What kind of dog is it? What's the breeding? All these things. And if you have a dog that's caught birds and now you're taking that away, it's a rocky road. I mean, it's you're walking down a tightrope, what it is, and you can fall off either way, and it takes a lot of experience to be able to handle it and not ruin the dog or have a dog that's not broke.
Right.
And so there's a fine line to keep it balanced. And so something like that, I would tell you that if you really want us to answer that the best I could, or we could, it'd be send a video.
Send a video and we'll watch it.
Yep, and we'll answer you.
Yep. Susan asked if a tip-up cage would be better than a launcher with pigeons. And if you go back and watch the past couple of Facebook Lives we've done, if you have a tip-up trap, throw it away.
Yep.
It's the worst piece of equipment you can use for training a bird dog. The bird cannot get away, and the dog, that's why Seppy did what she did today. Well, she keeps roding in and keeps going in, and because she learned to catch, and she wants to actually see the bird. And she learned to go bounce on the tip-up traps and try and get the bird out. So a very, very bad piece of equipment for a bird dog, because the bird has no opportunity to get away, which is what the pointing instinct is based on.
Yeah, if you watched what we did the other day with the lab.
Yes.
The explanation was all there. And also to understand that if you watch this and watch what the bird does when the dogs get close and when all that happens, in most cases, not always, but if we had to depend on the dogs to stand the bird with the tip-up trap, I promise you that's why this dog keeps moving in, is because she learned to do that. And so, like Jessica said, the answer to that is get rid of them things. Throw them away, scrapyard, do something like that, because they are... What is convenient for us, here's the best answer I can give you for that tip-up traps again. What is convenient for trainers and people with their dogs to keep the birds where they think they know where they're at and to hold the bird there is not going to help your dog always. It's not going to help. It's going to make it worse. Yeah. So we have some birds out here. Bailey, you and I have been out here working for about quite a while before Jessica come down to help us. And how many birds did we have get away in the last hour?
I lost 3.
She lost 3. We lost 5. And so that happens with us daily. And I know it sounds expensive, but what we do is we come back through here later in the day with trial dogs or dogs that are more advanced, walking or riding on horseback or whatever, and look for these birds and use them and shoot them then. So that's kind of how we change our areas all the time that we go through with the dogs. And so there's always ways to go back and get them. But if you're going to be using tip-up traps, don't. It will not help you.
So those of you that are on here that are PK people that have been to some of our clinics, take just a second out and type in there. We always say that we get dogs green broke, steady doing shot and fall in 4 days. And the biggest comment we hear at Perfection Kennels is, oh my gosh, I didn't think you could do that. I didn't think it would be done. Clinic. So we do it at every clinic. And if you've been to one of our clinics and witnessed it, please put a message up for us and tell us that you've seen it happen.
Yeah, I've even said that a lot of professional trainers out there, it would be wise to them to sign a dog up to come to the clinic, spend 4 days with us, get the dog green broke, stay on shot and fall, go home and work it, and get paid for it. And when we have a lot of trainers all over the country that come in here to our clinics.
We love to have trainers come.
Because we want to help people to progress and not have the dogs learn all the bad habits. Because when they get bad habits, the dog pays for it.
John says you always say you give a correction. What is your correction? Different for every dog.
So on Leon, I was on a 3. 3 on the level, which if you watch the light, I can't do it now. Here, I'll turn it so you can't see. Okay, so that's 3, low, low, medium, high. And so on Leon, I was on 3 low the whole time. If you would have tried to really go on after the bird, I would have been on the 3, medium or high. with Seppy, I was down to a 1. And on a 1, you see that there? On the 1, that level, if for most people at the clinic, we have people strap this on their arm, and we all get to shock them. And the point with it is on a 1 low, I can't even feel it.
Yeah, most people can't feel it.
Most people can't feel it. So that's the level that Seppy's on around the bird, because she is touchy, because she has learned to catch birds. Now we're filtering through all this gobbledygook she has built in her brain to get it out of there, and we're being careful not to break her desire for the birds through the process, and going through a lot of steps to get to this point with her, step by step by step, for understanding and teaching. But away from the birds, I'm actually a little higher, because I can turn her if she's delay chasing or things like that. So hopefully that answers your question that you're asking. We're trying to help dogs. I mean, we're trying to help people, and we have methods that we believe that if you have enough finesse and feel, that you can get through this process. And if you don't have good finesse and feel, come to a clinic. And we'll help you with it. And I'll just tell you a story about somebody who's probably picked up my processes faster than anybody that I've ever been around, through watching the videos and stuff. And they come to a clinic and they were working their dogs, and I'm going, wow, where did you learn to do this? I'm thinking somebody else has got the method out here that's similar to mine. And that person answered me and said, I watched your videos. Very cool. Well, that was very confidence building for me, that somebody could actually take what I said and make it work for them. Then they come back to another clinic, and their next dog was a finished dog, well trained, all done, already been working on birds, and the dog looked beautiful, understood everything, terrific job. And I said, wow, where'd you learn how to do this? And they said, watching their videos. And this person had never had a bird dog or trained it before, and progressed to the point that most people never get to with training, using the videos and trying to, well, they drank the Kool-Aid because they didn't know anything else. And she's sitting right here. At that point, I asked her
me
if
to
she
marry you.
Oh, I know, I didn't. I asked her for a job. I got you hooked in her as a job first, and then we got married. But wonderful thing for me. I mean, not for you. But
and both those dogs finished their field championships and their amateur field championships.
yes, and
one
so
of them's a national
it can be
champion.
done. Just we want to help people. It's not just about we're always trying to progress to the point that we are getting people to progress in their training. And you don't have to beat them and whack them. That's why the South Africans were here. They were trying to learn a better method.
Yes,
being
that's what
kinder
they
to
said.
their
Yeah.
dog.
Judy asked if that's a great question. Are we doing a new perfect start and finish video? We cannot.
No, we can't.
We can't redo those videos, but we are doing different videos, and you'll be able to pick and choose what you need, like the perfect here. We're going to do the perfect whoa next. We already have the proper gun acclimation. We are working on the perfect puppy, which is proving to be complicated because there's so many aspects. But we are going to come out with separate videos, and you'll be able to grab that as needed. We're also going to do a field trial video.
Yeah, each video is going to go over each subject that's in the perfect start in depth. So let's say that the way we're designing this, if you want to have just a gun dog, you can do the here, bird intro, gun acclimation, and
Go hunting.
And you can build the packages the way you want for each individual person. So, because a lot of people that are just going to hunt, they don't care if their dogs are stay a wing, shot, and fall.
Right.
But they may want their dog at least stay to wing, or they may not. They want them to stand on point until you flush. So we're trying to devise a way, a method of packaging them, and or you can pick and choose the ones you want, so they having to buy the whole system at once.
Lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. Okay, everybody. Everybody stay safe out there. Seems like that things are getting a little crazy, and we just want to keep our prayers flowing for everybody in our country, and everybody who's scared, hang in there. It's going to get better. And we appreciate you watching. I hope this helps break up your COVID-19 monotony. And the thing that we had a good friend yesterday that said they were getting bored and didn't know what to do, so I gave them homework. So if you have a dog at home and you're wondering what to do, find something to do with it. You can sit in your front room and teach them to hold, and go play and retrieve a little bit, or take them to just for walks. Find something to do with your dogs where you're home when you're supposed to be working, and do something fun for a change. So
Sounds like a good plan to me.
all right, we're going to get off here. I hope that helped everybody a little bit today. And the questions people are asking, keep asking them. If you have something you want to know, post them. We'll show it.